What is up, geeks and gamers? It is your boy Q
and QMG.
And
before we go into anything
further, what's going on?
Y'all, there is a secret that must be told to the world, and that is Q is a father. Yes. Yesterday,
I had my beautiful daughter today, Zora Ziegler.
No.
Well, yesterday, I'm sorry.
Beautiful.
Hey, I haven't had any sleep.
We ain't gonna do this much better than this.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday,
My fault.
at 9 o'clock p.m. on January 18th, 2020, Zora Kari.
See, he don't even know his.
Because I know. Zora Kari Ziegler was brought into this world. At how much, Quentin?
6 pounds and 4 ounces.
Woo! Doggy!
Yeah, she is so beautiful.
But peanut!
We'll talk more about that some other time. We are here, like I always say, in the Geeky Gaming universe. It's your boy Q and QMG, here to bring you guys everything geeky, gaming, and nerdy. Appreciate you guys for tuning into the Q-universe. What a beautiful Sunday it is. Like I always say, let's get straight into it. And I guess since we got people commenting and telling us what they want to talk about, no bigger way to start it off. Oh, Big V, Uncle V, appreciate you for tuning in. Thanks. But no better way to start it off than talking about good old The Batman.
Yes, y'all.
Yes, The Batman has had some leaked photo sets with some mixed reviews on what we call Sexy Penguin.
As popularized by good old Gotham, the television show.
Yes, a penguin is not Danny DeVito, short and stubby. Yeah, no more sleep for me, I know, right?
And, as we call them, for those who are unfamiliar with some of the newer material and some nerd regards to the locals, it has been brought.
You got it.
Yes, sorry about that. With little technical difficulties. But the locals have been voicing their opinions about how they're not too jazzed with this interpretation of the Penguin. Personally, for me, I am so glad that an actor the status and caliber of Colin Farrell gets to sink his teeth.
Appreciate you tuning in.
Thank you. Gets to sink his teeth into and playing this iconic villain, and I believe he's gonna bring the heat with his unique, especially Colin Farrell's unique brand of aggression and menace into this role. And I think it personally is too early to judge his performance based off of a set photo that isn't even him in action. It's just him.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Exactly. It's him carrying his lattes before he actually shoots any scenes.
What up?
Having fun out. Q, what is your thoughts and opinions on the Penguin?
I already told you from jump, Danny DeVito is the definitive Penguin for me. Big Danny DeVito, but we have had other iterations that were pretty good. As far as Colin Farrell, he's a great actor. He's won multiple awards. Depending on the material he's given, I think he could do a good job, bad, or he could do a horrible job. If they try to take him too much away from Oswald Cobblepot, then we might have a problem. If they try to take him too much away from because the Penguin, in all actuality, is a weasel of a character. No matter what
continuity.
No matter what, okay, but for the most part, the majority of Penguin characteristics is weaselly. And Colin Farrell isn't a weaselly guy. So for him to embody the Penguin, he has to still be a type of weaselly, conniving, talking behind your back character. And if he can't pull that off, then people are gonna feel some type of way. Do I like Colin Farrell's look so far? Not like I said, Danny DeVito is definitely my idea of the Penguin. So many times the Penguin has been portrayed that way.
Thank you.
Uncle Ellis, appreciate you for tuning in. So for me personally, no. But if it's done good, if it's done to a way that I feel, yeah, no one tops Danny DeVito. Exactly.
And you two's opinion.
And Brittany's opinion. Wherever you at, Brittany, if you tuning in, yeah, you know Danny DeVito. But so he has to embody that. And if he doesn't, then I feel like people are going to definitely bring the hammer of justice down upon him.
Mm-hmm. I don't see that being an issue. Like I said, I feel like it's just locals voicing their opinion online about stuff that they think that they don't want, and rather just letting it, just a lot of knee jerk early reactions that I believe will be put to rest when the movie comes out.
I feel like the Batman, the genre of music it is in the space of like
music.
I'm talking about in the space of each story has its own musical tone. I feel like the Batman is trying to be jazz, like smooth jazz with the casting choices and everything. Granny, appreciate you for tuning in. I don't know. I think they're trying to be too cool for school.
I don't know.
Zoe Kravitz, Robert Pattinson, Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Those are
Matthew McConaughey as Two-Face.
There's not been confirmed.
Well, I'm pretty sure it is.
But that's
I appreciate you for tuning in.
You say cool for school. I just say that's just good casting using great actors.
I'm not saying it's bad casting. I'm just saying the casting choice.
You know what I
mean? The baby's still at the hospital with Kimberly. After I leave here, I'm going straight back there, bro.
He thought the baby was gonna be chilling up.
Carson, appreciate you tuning in. I'm gonna be hitting you up. I think come hang out with us this weekend.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, I think that it's like, I mean, until you say too cool for school, I mean, I'm just like, what do you want?
No, I'm not saying too cool for school in a bad way. I was thinking that they were sitting around thinking who are the most angstiest, coolest characters we can get for these roles. Sorry, Geeks and Gang, got technical difficulty, got all these ads popping up. Bear with us.
Yes, but it's simply that it's just these actors that fit the motif. Every actor, I feel like, fits their role and an interpretation that will do service to the story being told. I don't see it as being anything like hard nosed or edgy or trying to go too much in one direction or anything like that. I just feel like it's going to be a good job. You bring up Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz; those, especially Zoe. That's god dang, that to me is like a spot on casting, and I'm interested to see what she does with it.
Well, and how many movies have Zoe Kravitz been in after X-Men First Class?
She's been in a fair share of movies. A lot of them.
Because I'm not familiar with anything that she's done other than X-Men First Class.
She was of course in the Fantastic Beast movies.
Okay. And then with Colin Farrell also, right?
Well, he was in the first one, and she was just in the first and second one. But those were her big major roles. But she was in a lot of smaller roles, especially TV, being on the phenomenally, the critically revered Big Little Lies on HBO. Okay, and that's like her biggest role to date in outside of film. So yeah, she's definitely somebody that I'm enthused about. And as we all know, when it comes to comic book movies and comic books in general, you can never just say, oh, that person's going to be bad or that person's going to be good, because more often than not, all of the most iconic roles have been
people who were said they do horribly in their role. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, like I said, I have no issue with this Penguin casting or his looks or anything like that. I feel like you could possibly go in the Weasley direction of it, but I don't think that's a necessity. I think you'd be better off if you're going to hire an actor that doesn't look traditional. You'd be best served doing something untraditional and going in and all in on that aspect, and or taking an aspect of his personality not regularly used and accentuate that to make the performance that much more better.
Definitely. But yeah, so I love every casting choice. Do I specifically like the look of Colin Farrell? No, but I think Colin Farrell is more than capable enough to do a good job in the role, especially with the tone that they're trying to set. I think Robert Pattinson is going to do good. Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman. Wait to see, but I think she could do a good job. Hopefully, if Matthew McConaughey is Harvey Dent, I'm going to like that. So there's nothing really bad that I can honestly sit here and see and say automatically, oh, this is gonna suck. Yeah. There's nothing at that point right now. The only thing I don't like, and I've expressed this to you, QMG, is the purple gloved Batman.
Which I said again for the umpteenth time that they're taking inspiration from it, and it's not a guarantee he'll have the purple glove.
So, but I did see a concept on his cowl, and it was purple.
Well, that's a concept. And we must reiterate, nothing official has come out about the Batman's Batsuit, Batmobile, or anything in regards to
No
that.
purple glove.
We haven't seen anything official, and all we're doing are speculating
Yes.
about what we will see or what we could see.
Just a small sideboard. Do you think we could have a black Alfred?
Well, no, because Andy Serkis is Alfred.
No, I'm saying like down the line.
Well,
Do you think that Alfred has to be set as a white character, British guy, or could he be a black British character?
I mean, obviously he could be race bent. He can be any type of character he wants to. But I think that's a conversation that'll be way down the line, and once they do another Batman reboot. But there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, definitely. But so with the leak set, how are you on the hype train for the Batman? Do you feel like the Batman is hype ready?
I've been on the hype train from the Batman from the very beginning when they said that this will be a flashback origin-esque stories with Robert Pattinson. I've been on the hype train since then, and I haven't had any reason to get off. So
the only reason I haven't talked about Star Wars or Bad Boys for Life. For
more or less Star Wars, not Bad Boys.
More or less Star Wars.
A little bit of Bad Boys.
Well, Bad Boys has made a lot of money.
So it just came out, but we're not worried about Bad Boys for Life. Tell them why you've been flogging out.
I haven't. Okay. Star Wars.
Big time. Worlds of DC.
What's up?
Shout outs to my Worlds of DC podcast mate Tabitha.
Yes, shout out to World of DC. Go ahead and tell them where y'all can listen to that podcast.
Worlds of DC is not going to be. It's always available on Spotify for Android listeners and on Apple Podcast for your Apple iPhone users who like to have their information broadcast to major corporations.
No, Uncle Ellis, no, not Will Ferrell, Colin Farrell, from Troy,
from Troy, from gosh darn Mother Luckin' Snatch.
Yeah, from Phone Booth.
Yes.
And a plethora of other movies that I just can't name off the top of my head. No, if Will Ferrell was Penguin, I'd be like, this movie's gonna be trash.
No, it's most certainly not.
Speaking
of Will Ferrell, Step Brothers on Netflix.
Yes, Step Brothers is on Netflix. If you guys, Kimberly has never seen Step Brothers, so whoever didn't see Step Brothers, go watch that now on Netflix. But yeah, definitely go watch DC, the DC podcast.
Worlds of DC podcast, episode 8 literally just dropped, and it is part 2 of our breakdown of the Birds of Prey soundtrack, as well as us ranting on several topics in regards to DC related stuff. So if you've watched our show, you know exactly how I sound ranting.
Well,
but you can hear other people rant about stuff they care about as well.
Now it's all good, Uncle Ellis. That's what we here for, man. We a team. We lift each other up. But what I was going to say, back to the Batman. I think I asked you this question before, QMG. Do you feel that the success of the Batman will hinder or will it help the DCEU, Justice League, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck style world with Aquaman and Ezra Miller?
No, because at that point, because by 2021 we will already have, ideally this year, Snyder Cut release, Wonder Woman 84, Birds of Prey. Those three things, release and success, will have already dictated where the DCEU is headed by.
I actually watched the video about Step Brothers 2. They wanted to do it, but they scrapped
Step Brothers, exclamation point, 2 thumbs up.
Oh, 2 thumbs up. See, that's what we're team for. Yeah. But yeah, I actually feel like it will actually hurt the DC. EU. Because I feel like the Batman being pushed so hard to be good and be the next step to where Batman story leads, unless they ultra age Robert Pattinson, where can they go with this DC universe? So they're just gonna split it into 2 tangents and allow, or are they gonna? Sorry, bear with us, geeks and gamers. Are they gonna do something that changes the whole narrative? Where saying a Crisis of Infinite Earths using DC, where the Batman Robert Pattinson is the Batman that comes to the future?
No, and I'll tell you why. For one, Matt Reeves has stated on numerous occasions that his Batman movie, for better or worse, will be self-serving first and foremost, and not really and relates to everything else secondary, if at all. So what I mean by that is, it's not a guarantee that the casting of Zoe Kravitz, even though it'd be ideal for her to be in the potential Gotham City Sirens movie that could possibly come out based off of the success of Birds of Prey. Which
Trey, appreciate you tuning in. I'm sorry y'all lost, man.
Not really. Which Birds of Prey comes out? Birds of Prey comes out February 7th. Make sure you go out to the theaters and see it. It looks dope. But based off,
give Birds of Prey one more shout out. I was talking while you were giving a shout out.
Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of Harleen Quinzel drops February 7th. Give it a watch. It's rated R, so don't take your bad kids. So
no, I think they will take their bad kids.
I'm trying to help them, but no, it would though only like ideally we want Zoe Kravitz to be in Gotham City Sirens for the sake of continuity, or Lisa Bonet as an older version of Zoe Kravitz, this Catwoman. But the reason why I say that the future of the DCEU would have already been decided is because Matt Reeves' Batman was never scheduled to be a tie-in movie. It was never meant to be that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So to assume that would be the derailment. It wouldn't do anything. All it would do is more or less confirm that they would have to find different actresses for Catwoman, and then probably just won't use Batman until they feel comfortable with replacing Ben Affleck in that time frame. Because if Birds of Prey is successful, then they will just focus on Harley Quinn movies moving forward. And Wonder Woman, which I feel will be successful, they'll just continue that alongside Aquaman and The Flash as the marquee heroes. And of course, if the Snyder Cut does indeed come out this year, and it does really, really well,
release the Snyder Cut,
and it does really, really well, then that in and of itself open up a whole different can of universe worms that we've discussed at length.
Exactly. So I feel like they're gonna step on each other's toes.
No, because one will just one will just have to supersede the other, because this is a long shot, but Snyder Cut's release could potentially bring Ben Affleck back to the DC.
Hopefully,
it could, if it's released this year before the Batman and it's very well received. There is a small chance, but a chance nonetheless, that Ben Affleck might want to conclude his arc. He might not get the Batman solo movie he was trying to conceptualize, but ultimately felt like he didn't do a good enough job in creating, which is why he just said, gave full reins to Matt Reeves. But he could still come back to do a Justice League 2 and close out that Batman. That would be insane
to have 2 live-action Batmans.
It would, because it hasn't happened before. I mean, in two separate actors in the same timeline.
Both Quicksilvers.
No, because it absolutely did happen back in the day with gosh dang Val Kilmer and George Clooney, because those were and Michael Keaton, all three were the same Batman,
definitely,
but they were just portrayed by different actors. So it'll be weird that we've already seen.
Miss Yvonne, appreciate you tuning in.
Thank you. It'll be weird that we're going back and forth. That we had one established Batman, then we see this version of Batman,
and if he comes back, we're gonna go back to another established. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I don't think that the only way it could derail something is if the worst case scenario, everything DC does from now until the Batman flops, and and even then, that's like a highly unlikely move that'll happen. So
definitely.
No.
So go ahead.
Well, yes, the next topic we're going to talk about, the next major thing we want to discuss, is in regards to a franchise I thought legitimately, and I should have tempered myself because this was a possibility it could happen. Could do no wrong, but unfortunately, I hate to say this. I might go on a tangent here, Q, but I'm not going to go on too long of a tangent because there's a main event tangent.
I got something to say too about this.
But there's a main event tangent, so don't talk too much about that because you have to save your energy, good sir. Because boy, are y'all in for a treat.
Oh, God.
But
there you go.
Smash Ultimate this week released this past Thursday, actually.
Yes.
Released the trailer and descriptions and the information on the last DLC character for this first season. And there was rumors swirling around for the last couple of weeks that it was either going to be, Doom Guy from Doom or Minecraft Steve. That was one of the most long-running theories.
Dante from Devil May Cry.
Yeah, most importantly was Dante from the Devil May Cry series. And it was a lot of, social media, the social media accounts that could potentially be involved with Nintendo were teasing things that sounded familiar to what they were going to announce this Thursday. And then this Thursday came, and we got another flip-flapping Fire Emblem character in Smash Brothers. For those who don't know what I mean by another Fire Emblem character, in Smash Brothers, since the second game, Super Smash Brothers Melee, there has been a character from the video game series Fire Emblem introduced in every single one, and it doubles every single game. Smash Brothers Melee had Roy and Marth, who were essentially the same character, only one had fire to his moves and the other one had a powerful end of his sword.
Brawl had Roy, Marth, Ike.
No, Brawl just had Marth and Ike. No, Roy.
Remember? Oh yeah, they brought Roy back for
Roy was brought back for Super Smash Brothers 4.
Yeah.
And they introduced Robin, Lucina, and Corrin. Robin and Lucina were from the same Fire Emblem game, and Corrin was from an upcoming Fire Emblem game that had not released yet. And then the newest character introduced is Byleth.
The Byleth boy.
And Chrom, I forget, Chrom was also introduced in Smash Ultimate. He was from the same game as Lucina and Robin. But TLDR, long story short, Byleth is the main character of the most recent Fire Emblem game, Three Houses.
Yes.
Very successful, very much critically acclaimed. So you're probably asking yourself, if I'm telling you that this game was very well received and a lot of people bought it, then how was this a disappointment? And it's because it's another Fire Emblem character.
Which totals a total of 8 Fire Emblem representatives for Super Smash Brothers.
Which puts it at third. No, actually, it ties it for... No, it's at third. Because the Mario Brothers franchise has the most one. I obviously, because it's Mario. And the second one is Pokemon with 9, and Fire Emblem is 8. And the reason why this is a problem is because last week, if you recall, when I was speaking about DLC characters that should be in the game and how you approach that, you have DLC characters that should, if they don't make the cut of the main roster, then they just, and then they could be DLC characters, but if there are characters available who take priority, then they should
JB, appreciate you tuning in. It's me, your boy.
They should fill the gap. So I gave the example, Shantae and Shovel Knight.
Hold on, just a small brief thing. And also, as QMG was saying, there are other representatives from different franchises, but they're so vastly different in play style. Okay, say less. Making sure.
I was setting it up.
Say less.
I was setting with Sean. I was giving the example last week of Shantae and Shovel Knight, how they are fan favorite characters. And I called them Nintendo adjacent because they put you in the mind of classic Nintendo characters. And I said that they could make the main roster of characters, but if they don't, then they could potentially make DLC. But if you have bigger characters like your Scorpions, your Crash Bandicoots, your Dante,
Crash Bandicoot should have definitely been in the game.
If you have them, then they should take priority of your Shantaes and Shovel Knight. Because I gave the example of Shantae and Shovel Knight being fresh, regular people trying to go to the club, and those other characters being Rihanna and Beyonce and stuff like that. Which means while you look fresh and you may be fine, you're not those people. So therefore, they take precedence, and they may be the reason why you don't get in the club. Byleth spits in the face of that by being just a regular ass Nintendo protagonist that basically could have been in the main game if they really wanted to.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because, and I haven't spoken about this on the show, but my philosophy, especially when it comes to fighting games in particular, is that the main core roster of a fighting game should be developers' input first and foremost. Yes, they can have fan favorite characters because you trust them to put characters in the game that entices you to buy them.
Yes.
But ultimately, it should come down to what the developers want to put in there to tell the story and the game and create the game they want to, so they still have the creative freedom and express themselves in a healthy environment.
The Fighter Pack 1 all the way up until Byleth was amazing.
But
I thought it was good.
But my point with that is not that it's amazing, but all DLC for fighting games should be fan favorites focused. It should not. All the developers should have no real input, creative wise, on who is DLC. For the simple fact that you're now paying extra for characters that fundamentally change the game. You're literally paying for stuff will more or less be more valuable than the things that was basically in the game.
Yeah.
And with fighting games in particular, as much as me and Q love them, we would be lying to you if we told you that buying a fighting game at the beginning would be detrimental to your playstyle.
One of my favorite fighting games dealt with that. Street Fighter V.
Yeah, Street Fighter V, even though
if I could go back in time and not purchase Street Fighter V when it first came out, I would have, because the game didn't become its full version till almost 6 months to a year down the line.
Yeah, and I always give Street Fighter V this. If it was at the time, Capcom was in dire strait. They were on the verge of being bought out by a Chinese company, and they literally could not make Street Fighter V under their own power. They literally needed help from Sony and all of these other. That's why Street Fighter V is a PlayStation exclusive, to get the game made. Yeah. And they promised that they would not stop supporting the game until they felt like it was at its complete form, and they made good on that promise.
Yeah, they have.
The Street Fighter V, in all honesty, was a complete and finished game by the first half year mark. Yeah. And they kept adding to it. And then they kept adding to it. And then they kept adding to it. And not just incremental stuff, but they added major things that people wanted and major cosmetic things that enticed people to keep playing and improve the mechanics to now, with the newest update, Championship Edition, it's now at a state that people really enjoy.
My only problem with Street Fighter and their cumulative, I understand we're in the age where developers want to make a certain amount of money fiscally through the whole year, not through just off a base sale of a game.
Yes.
But if we had not even Championship Edition, Arcade Edition. If Arcade Edition was the Street Fighter that released, it would probably be arguably one of the top fighting games, period, like undeniably, unquestionably, if it was what Arcade Edition was fully by Season 4. But
I understand that they probably didn't have the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I bring that point up for the simple fact that fighting games have a tendency of re-releasing themselves over the course of a year, if not two. The most egregious example, if you want to call it that, would be Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and then literally 6 months later, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 comes out.
Characters behind paywalls.
No, not characters behind paywalls, more or less, but it was characters originally. They were going to hold off on this. This was supposed to be a year.
Yeah.
But if you take your mind back to it, Japan's major earthquake happened around the time, and a lot of companies and developers, including Capcom, was upended. So they had to push forward the inclusion of Ultimate Edition of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 for that to come to reality.
Could we just get a small applause for Capcom making their comeback? Capcom has made a very huge comeback from, like you said, on the brinks of being bought out to now having some of the top games, period, right now, winning awards.
For the past 3 years, they've been on fire. And look at Resident Evil 3,
Monster Hunter World,
Resident Evil 7, Monster Hunter World,
Resident Evil 2
remake, and Devil May Cry 5. Yes, absolutely. And the consistent upgrades on Street Fighter 5. Absolutely.
Yes.
But and Mortal Kombat. That's another thing. That's another example of games re-releasing themselves within a year to, if not less than that, to more content. And when DLC, most of these companies ask you can either pay $5 when each character comes out, or you can pay $30 for these characters, and we might not tell you if all of those characters are at that time. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, I'll just wait for the characters to individually come out and just buy them as I please, which is fine. But then these developers put things like, if you buy the season pass, you get costumes that you might not be able to get.
As far as the Altair, Cuphead.
No, that is separate. That's not with the pass. That's
just a hypothetical.
But
certain clothes are locked behind, like
or the Premier skins in Injustice 2. That is an example of that, because you can get the Premier,
which included Stalker. Sorry, bear with us, geeks and gamers.
Yep. Well, just technical difficulties. Y'all know how I be. But they lock certain stuff behind paywalls, which creates something called fear of missing out or syndrome or FOMO syndrome. Whereas, sure, you could just buy this one thing you say you want individually, but then you might not get the costume pack that lets you play as Killer Croc and Catwoman.
Do you know who's notorious for doing that?
Fortnite.
Yes. Do you know how many times I felt under, not to a a very extreme extent, but there is a level of stress that you're under knowing that you spent your money on this battle pass and have only a certain amount of time to collect everything, where now you're trying to, I don't know how many times I've caught myself at the tail end of the battle pass trying to rush and do challenges and we're not really having fun, just trying to get all the costumes I can before they're almost obsolete and have to come back months and months later down the line. So that is a true issue that a lot of gamers have. For people who play Fortnite, let me know. Or Apex Legends, all the season battle pass that only costumes come from that battle pass that you've missed out on. Let me know.
Yeah, but and to get back to the point with the fighting games, they do that, and it's one thing when it's cosmetic items like you speak of with Fortnite, but with fighting games, you're basically, it's more or less paying to win, because there's been plenty of examples where the DLC fighters are kind of more
Leroy. Big Leroy, it was an amazing character. Probably gonna nerf him.
When they're rounded on back to Smash Brothers,
yes.
When you do all of that, when you're asking people for more money with DLC characters and with Smash Brothers in general, they never tell you all of the characters you're paying $30 up front for. They like to, and beforehand it was pretty fun because they were always giving you exactly what you wanted or something that you didn't know you wanted, but they presented it in a way because it was new and exciting, you were willing to try out. And there was do these surprise announcements. Oh, we're not going to tell you when Mewtwo is going to come out. And when we finally tell you Mewtwo's come out, we're bringing back Roy. Oh, here's Ryu. We're throwing Cloud and Corrin, even though we're told you that there's going to be 4 DLC, and stuff of that nature. And then it used to be successful. But now with Byleth coming out, and with her, and because it's the character in Fire Emblem, you can make either a guy or a girl depending on who you want to play as. Their inclusion as the last DLC fighter kind of seems basic because one, it's not anybody really wanted, and 2, it kind of feels like a waste, and 3, it kind of feels like they were lied to and ripped off because Sakurai and Nintendo even said that there wasn't going to be any more regular representatives. There was only going to be, no double dipping in franchises, is what they said, and that's what they absolutely did. So there's a feeling of being ripped off. And while I kind of made peace with that, I'm kind of under the assertion that Sakurai, moving forward with the second season pass, which again they have announced no fighters for it.
Yes.
They only said that there's going to be one extra fighter, and they are having the plan to, well, not the plan, they've already begun to say, release the fact that you can buy it already for $30 and you get this cool new skin for your Mii fighters,
which is Altair from Assassin's Creed.
No, it's the
which one?
It's the Altair is one of the Mii costumes when you buy Byleth. When you want to buy the second season pass, it's the Guardian's armor from Breath of the Wild.
The Guardian armor from Breath of the Wild.
You really want to get Altair? You just want to get Altair.
I do, yes. Everybody should mess with Altair. But no, before I say my piece, like I always say, this is Into the Universe for all our new viewers. You can always go and watch us on YouTube. Everything's going to be posted up. I know I've been slacking, but I've been kind of busy. Hey, Big Henry, appreciate you for tuning in. Everything will be posted, but you also can watch all of our content right on Facebook at my personal Facebook page, as well as the Geeked Up Media Facebook page, as well as the Into the Qniverse Facebook page. So you can go to those and watch all of our old podcasts, as well as this one will be uploaded right as soon as we get out of here today. But you can also like, comment, and share, and go to YouTube at Into the Qniverse. Nothing is spaced, all together, and go watch our content on there. Like I said, it'll be uploaded sooner than later. But with that being said, Tim, appreciate you tuning in. With that, before I got something to say about that. But yeah, it definitely felt like a slap in the face to all of the people who have spent their money on the pass. Not only because it's a Fire Emblem character, but egregiously they understand that we're tired of these Fire Emblem sword fighting.
We would hope that they understand that, and they're not just simply not taking it serious.
But even the trailer, appreciate it, bro. Even the trailer shows that they didn't care because Sorith, the actual when in Fire Emblem in the trailer says, "Oh, you're tired of all the sword fighting characters." When in actuality, it's not only the sword fighting character; it's also the representative being a Fire Emblem character. So it was almost a double whammy of some sorts. When we like
it being ambivalent, like they're trying to be like they're trying to kowtow and tiptoe around the fact that sword fighters but we really meant Fire Emblem characters.
Exactly. So with that being said, it's almost like a slap in the face. Now, do I solely believe it's Sakurai who chose to do that?
Yes.
No, I don't solely believe it was Sakurai. I believe it was an amalgamation of Sakurai loving Fire Emblem and not having enough push against Fire Emblem when it's going to make Nintendo money to push three houses, right? So they come to Sakurai and say, "What do you think about Byleth?" Of course, he loves Byleth, so why say no? He loves Fire Emblem, period. So do I think it was all Sakurai? No. I think it was both parties. But yes, it was definitely a slap in the face. But you do have the minority of people, for anybody who's on Twitter, I don't know if y'all for Fire Emblem, for Smash, they always have this meme about anybody that talks bad about Byleth hoes mad.
No, that's just in general.
Yeah.
That's just for stuff
but I'm talking about they put the meme with Byleth's face.
I can honestly tell you that meme is universal. It's not exclusive to.
I'm just talking about just for right now. They're using the Byleth face.
But even then, as funny as that is, that's not positive for Fire Emblem's case. Yeah. I honestly believe if pushback is really as bad as it could be, this could end up hurting Fire Emblem in the long run, because Fire Emblem, while it is an objectively fun franchise and good, and it has a lot of great story elements to it, it was once upon a time on the verge of cancellation by Nintendo because of how poorly it sold. And a lot of recent Fire Emblem games from Awakening downward have been very much, fan favorites, but it's also been very pandery and very fan servicery. And Nintendo fans do have a penchant for not necessarily pulling off successful boycotts, but for being assholes. And I do feel like I feel like this could have, not saying Sakurai deserves to be harassed or anything like that, because he absolutely does not, but this definitely could have been more well thought out than it did. And I definitely feel like, and I don't want to sound hypocritical, because there are times where I laugh and go, yes, definitely dunk on these guys who wanted one thing and didn't get it, and make fun of them, especially if they tend to be assholes. But I feel like this Fire Emblem, because I will say I heard rumors that originally the sixth character was supposed to be Crash Bandicoot,
which would have been perfect for Smash Brothers.
But Activision, for some reason or another, pulled out at the very end, so they might have had to scramble to put Byleth in the game.
Or maybe they missed the deadline and he might be in the next pack. Maybe,
but it's Activision, so
that'll be my main. Crash Bandicoot would definitely be my main,
because Activision seems more in line with having an Overwatch character in Smash. We're back. See, it's not technical difficulties. We didn't want to surprise you. We didn't want to let you guys know what's going on too much. But we got commercials. We got advertising.
Oh, there we go. We're selling out to the man.
Yeah. So OnlyFans have been a sponsor for us for about 2 weeks now. So that's what's been going on.
But no, in all seriousness, we'll get those technical difficulties worked out.
But yes.
But yeah. With that being said, just right quick, how do you feel about Byleth being in Smash?
Byleth and being in Smash is a disappointment until proved. Well, it's a disappointment. The character can be fun as all heck, but I believe that ill will has now unfortunately been attached to Smash Brothers, and I only hope that they do their best to erase it, because Smash Brothers is the absolute last game I want to see have anyone doubt it, considering the amount of hard work and people attached to it. And I only hope that this is something that they'll bounce back from entirely.
I agree.
And I also think that they should not do any more surprise announcements, that even if they might, I think they just should go ahead and just let people know beforehand which characters are being included, and to just reestablish, just to reset the board, and then once everybody's at a state where we are all happy with each other again, then start doing the surprise announcement.
I agree. I definitely think Byleth was a very disappointing character. Tried to be optimistic at first, but as time progressed, knowing that it was another Fire Emblem character when we could have got so many other characters, my personal pick is Travis Touchdown for people who watch the podcast. Is a character from Nintendo's franchise No More Heroes, one of my favorite characters of all time.
Which even though I've been telling you this, I never figured he would be the 6th character, and I felt like as soon as they announced that there will be a 2nd season, he was almost a lock to be in the 2nd season. I'd be genuinely surprised if he was not in the 2nd season.
Yeah, but once again, I'm very disappointed. Hopefully Smash... Kier, appreciate you for telling me. Hopefully Smash will do better. They haven't made a lot of hiccups with this game, so hopefully we'll get better content out of them.
But enough about Smash Brothers, and enough of me talking, because we are in the end game now. We are in the main event. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready like you ain't never been ready before. Because if you ain't got it, get it. And if you can't get it, then
figure it out.
Because it's time
to
Get ready to rumble!
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, whether you're from the worlds of DC, a part of the Q-universe, anywhere in between, a video game came out this week. A video game from one of the most storied and beloved nerd franchises of all time.
Yeah.
For the current generations of consoles, your Xboxes and your PlayStation. And it's a little game called Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Yeah.
Now, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot sets itself off from all of the other Dragon Ball Z games, Dragon Ball games, however you wish to quantify it. It's not a 3D playing 1v1 fighter like the Budokai series. It's not an arena fighter like the Tenkaichi Rage and Blast fighter games. It's not a RPG battle style game like the Xenoverse. And it's not even a 3v3 tags like Fighters. It is a single player, open world RPG that takes you from and hold on to your butts when I tell you this, because I promise you won't believe you won't even believe where they're finna go.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it.
It is going to be from the beginning of the Saiyan saga to the end of the Buu saga. I know. Stuff you've never seen before.
What?
Q, please let these beautiful people know exactly how you feel about all of this.
Now, first of all, I want y'all to see, I got my Dragon Ball on this time, so I am not a Dragon Ball hater. I love Dragon Ball so much. So very much. I even have a soft spot for GT because Super Saiyan 4 can go Vegeta. But, if I have to be totally honest,
Please.
Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is one of the most disappointing games I have ever had the pleasure to ever know was being released. First, I've talked to multiple people this week about the game. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about gameplay. You can love the gameplay all day long. I am strictly talking about, we have seen the Saiyan Saga. I mean, the Saiyan Saga all the way up to the Buu Saga for the last almost 20 plus years. And frankly, I am sick of playing through that. I don't know if it's just me. Let me know in the comments. But I am definitely sick of playing through the Saiyan Saga.
But Q, you mean to tell me you don't want to see Raditz get special being canon again?
Tired of it. I'm tired of seeing Yamcha laying down from getting blown up by a side.
But Q, you mean you don't want to see Goku break Nappa's spine in canon?
I'm tired of seeing Goku first go not Ultra Instinct, but KO Ken to defeat everybody. No, I'm tired of that.
That Q, you mean to tell me? And I don't know. I think I know the answer to this. You mean to tell me that you don't want to see Goku turn Super Saiyan in the exact same animation with the exact same dialogue?
If I have to see Krillin die one more time and Goku go Super Saiyan for the first time, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm so tired.
But I think I got you on this one, Q. You mean to tell me that you don't want to see Gohan go Super Saiyan 2 for the first time against Cell again? With the exact same setup and no change?
No, I'm total tired. And what makes it so crazy...
But Q...
No, wait. But what makes it so crazy... Jimbo, hit me up, hit me up. But what makes it so crazy is the fact that everybody acts like this has not happened. Like we haven't seen this through Raging Blast, Sagas, Legacy of Goku, Tenkaichi 2, Budokai 1, Raging Blast. Like we haven't seen these stories been replayed over and over and over. It's like everybody is blind to it. Now I could understand if we waited 5-6 years before we got this RPG, but we're literally coming off the heels of Xenoverse, where they kind of, without the Time Patrol, which is a good story, they still go through the same sagas. And before that, we had Budokai Tenkaichi 3, which people are my favorite Dragon Ball game of all time. But it's like we go through the same sagas over and over and over and over and over, and everybody seems to love it. But I'm sick of it. I'm personally tired of playing the Saiyan Saga through the Buu Saga over and over. Do I feel like the game should have been $60? Not necessarily going through the same 3 sagas.
So you're saying that because of that you're getting ripped off by paying $60 for it?
I definitely feel like you are. That's just me personally. Do I feel like the game could have been? And then I've done my research. I've watched a lot of gameplay, a lot of hours of gameplay on the game, and the world it suffers from the open world curse.
Where it's too
not
much.
Being a true not focusing so much on the characters. Your world isn't built. It's open, but it feels empty. Exactly. Even with characters walking around and monsters still empty, you're not really enjoying the open world. You're trying to shoot to the next battle. People aren't really experiencing the world as a Grand Theft Auto or a Red Dead. What is the point of doing an open world if you're not going to enjoy the open world? So, like I said, I watched a lot of hours on it. This isn't just going from, seeing the case and discussing. No, this is truly knowing the lore, even though they're adding little tidbits here. Not going to spoil anything for you, but they're adding a little continuity to certain characters.
And Q, just without going into spoilers, how would you classify these changes or retcons?
They don't matter. Like, it doesn't matter at all, the changes they're making to the game.
But if you had to say, were they good or bad, what word would you use to describe them?
One is okay, because it was a fan favorite thing. But the rest weren't good. They were worthless. Yeah, bad. They didn't really matter.
They were trash, you would say.
Now, they tried to cover up some plot holes, but other than that, it was nothing that's gonna rock the world of Dragon Ball. No pun intended. Rock the Dragon. But anyway, we've seen this for 20 years. I've been watching Dragon Ball Z since I was 10 years old. So I've been watching this saga over and over. Box sets, DVDs, Toonami, YouTube, Facebook. Like, we have so much more Dragon Ball that they could have put. They could have put whole new stories. I would have preferred an open world game where you could go to the 7 different universes. If you're gonna make a Dragon Ball game, it's nothing wrong with. People loved Super. No one has a bad rap on Super. Everybody loves the Tournament of Power. Everybody loves the different universes. You could step out of your box or your zone with Dragon Ball. You don't have to stay in those 3 sagas. That's how I feel, and I just feel like they really muddied the waters on my love for Dragon Ball Z video games. Not the anime. Love it to death. Still watch it. But as far as video games, I'm tired of having to fight Raditz. I'm tired of having a special beam cannon. I'm tired of having to watch Gohan hit Raditz with his head and fight Raccoon and get beat up. I'm tired of it. Having to go through all of Frieza's form. But I seem like I'm the only person on the world that has a problem with playing these 3 sagas. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about? Are you gonna get Dragon Ball Z Kakarot?
No, I'm not buying that trash.
I'm good. Like I told my one of my friends, I'm gonna buy it 5 years from now. When I haven't played a Dragon Ball Z game besides Fighter for the last 5 years. But other than that, I'm not gonna purchase Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
So just to summarize, in your words,
I'm tired of playing 20 years worth of game.
So you're saying that this game is trash?
You just wanted me to say it's trash. For me personally, yes, it is trash.
No, so let's say this game is trash.
I'm not gonna say that because there's a lot of people that like the game.
That's
So
their opinion.
that's their opinion. My opinion, it's not worth my money.
Which means what? These people are smart. They know
it's
that
not worth my time or my money.
they know that their opinion can't be influenced by yours. Just say it.
It's trash to me.
Okay.
There we go.
Say if you had to rate it.
If I had to rate it, I'll rate it a solid 5. Just because it's Dragon Ball Z.
But if you took Dragon Ball Z out of it, you'd say it's a 0 out of 10.
No, if Dragon Ball Z was... Sorry, geeks and gamers. But no, if
So
it was...
let's say-
say if it was its own RPG and Dragon Ball had never existed.
Okay, let me rephrase that. It's Dragon Ball.
Yes.
It's the same old ish.
Yeah.
New era, same old shit. And you just you were so ready for a brand new experience, but you got this,
Then it's trash.
and it's a 0 out of 10.
Oh, when I first heard about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I didn't know. Hey, what up, C? When I first heard about Dragon Ball,
Not first heard, but when
I first heard about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I thought it was gonna maybe expound, going all the way into the Tournament of Power arc.
No, I mean when you first see that it's the rehash of.
Oh, I was upset.
But now, so once you
I'm
understand,
still upset because it's trash.
So it's a 0 out of 10 to you.
No, because it's Dragon Ball. I can't give Dragon Ball.
But
no zero.
but the concept that it's rehashing the same thing
That makes it trash. That's why I get a 5.
So it's a 0 out of 10.
All right, we'll talk about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot later, but another time.
It's a 0 out of 10.
But I definitely didn't like it. But you guys definitely go play it, and you guys come back next week and let me know how you guys feel.
So Q can say it's trash because that's how you really feel.
And I like to give a shout out to all my people who comment on our videos and come to me during the week and tell me what you guys want to talk about. You're never too out of the way to let us into the Quniverse know what you guys want to talk about. We'll definitely talk about your topics and discuss your topics because without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. So with that being said,
and just a quick heads up, the next 2 to 3 weeks might be review heavy episodes because by that time we would have probably seen Bad Boys, and he probably would, hopefully, above all else, would have seen Star Wars now, because got a lot of things to talk about with Star Wars.
Yes.
And Birds of Prey is shortly thereafter, so yes. Q, any closing remarks besides you think Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is trash?
I think Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is trash.
And it's a 0 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
0.
5.
Negative
But
5.
yes.
So yes, you do.
No.
Negative 5.
There you go. But anyway, you already know how we gotta do it. This is Into the Quniverse.
He thinks it's a negative 5, y'all. He's just trying.
I'm your boy Q,
and I'm your boy QMG.
and you know how we gotta do. Like I always say, GQ Smooth, always on our P's and our Q's. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next Sunday, and if you ain't got it, get it. And if you can't get it,
figure it out. And
Straight
if you
like
live
that.
in the life, then you're living the hype. And if you ain't with it, shorty, then you part of the hype.
peace.
Let's go.
Game over.